Hey, I'm Rob from jtrpodcast.com and this is Board Game Ups and Downs. I look at the individual parts of a board game and give the bits I like an up and the bits I don't like a down. This time we're looking at the overproduced tile-laying city building game, Suburbia Collector's Edition. Now it's usually at this point I look at my favourite comment from the previous video, which would be Tapestry, but I'm recording this before that one's gone live, so naughty me, I haven't got anything to look at. So let's look at the league table. We can see there that Gaia Project is still at the top. You need 9 points to beat it, and interestingly, Suburbia needs 6 points to beat fellow tile layer Carcassonne. Okay, back to Suburbia. Let's take a look at it. I'm just going to put this, because this is quite bulky, the box gets a down. The thing about the box is it's big. It needs to be big because there's a lot in there. It takes up look at the size of the gap it leaves on the shelf. That is 3 games. Well, 2 Suburbia and 2 other games that could be going on the shelf. It also means transportation for it, just to get it out the house, get it to a game day, to get it played is quite difficult. And also, if you look at the layout inside the box, while it holds everything in neatly, you need to put it in a specific way for it to fit that way. It does tell you on the side of the box how it all goes, but it means you need to sort of keep things neat as you take them out of the box. And as you know, when you take things out of the box, sometimes people pick things up and put them back down, not exactly where you place them, which means they're out of order, which means it takes things harder to put things back in the box, and it's just that tad bit annoying, a bit too much. And the reason for me it's more annoying is because look, hey, that's pretty much the same game. This has got Suburbia 5-star, Suburbia Inc. It's got everything except all the colours and some of those wooden tokens. Those wooden tokens would fit in here too, by the way. And just, that's it. It could have just been this. But, you know, it's a down. However, I can pick 3 things I do like about the box. One thing is related to the thing that's going to get a down, but it's not enough for me to give the thing an up or even sort of a neutral point. So one of those things is the fact that the tiles are held neatly in those plastic trays and you put everything back where they are. The reason I don't like that is you have to separate everything out, and you have to put things back very specifically, make sure your stacks are the right height so the trays on top will stack correctly, whereas in the old game, the original Suburbia, you could just stick everything in a plastic bag and chuck it in the box and you're done. The other 2 things will be on the other camera. Now I always like a tray where you can just dump it on the table, pull the lid off and you're pretty much done. You do need to change the number of tiles in this depending on the player count, but that is fine. The rest of the metal coins and all the tokens are in this tray, which is really nice. The other thing I like as I lift this up and put this one underneath is this. This is one of the things that really attracted me to the collector's edition. I'm going to put it upside down because this is the important thing. You can see the tiles on this, they slide across really well as you push them along. If I can get the tiles on there, you can see it works. I had my doubts, but when you're playing the game, as you push the tiles along, you get to then pull another one out here. It works really well. This is great because it's got all the rules on it. We'll get back to the rules and stuff later. But I'm giving this tray and this slidey thing an up. One of the weirdest games of Suburbia I played was on a glass table at a nice smooth surface, but they put a tablecloth on top, and that tablecloth moved at every single motion. So you had to pick every single tile up on Suburbia as you moved it. Every time somebody took one out, you had to pick them up individually and move them one at a time, which was really annoying. I wish we had that tray then. Now, something else I want to talk about that's in the box is this. This is the tower. You stack all the tiles, you place the tower over the top, and it goes on top of the tray here like that. So this is looming over the table as it should, because it's a nice big skyscraper look at it. The problem is, it's cardboard and you need to glue it. And your components, your tiles in the game, are cardboard. I don't want glue near my cardboard. Now, I'm not the tidiest person in the world. I haven't glued mine yet. It's holding pretty well. You would take these little windows out here so you can see the tiles inside, but you need those to give it some integrity until you glue the lid on properly. Then you can take these out, but I haven't glued it yet because I'm not confident enough. I need to make sure I'm getting the right glue and all that thing. But what if you get glue on the inside and then you play it and your tiles get stuck to the top and they tear? I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I don't want to put glue anywhere near my cardboard components because, like I said, I'm not a tidy person. I don't have the steady hand. That's why I don't paint any of my figures or my Arcadia Quest, Blood Rage, Rising Sun. All unpainted. I haven't got the time. I haven't got the ability, and I definitely haven't got the steady hand to be able to do that. So this is going to get down, but not just because of that. Because of this as well. It has to go on the table somewhere. Somebody, maybe, depending on where you're sat, somebody is going to have to try and look around the tower. As impressive as it is, as nice as it looks on the table, I'm giving it a down. So I've already looked at this box for setup, but I just want to look at the components as well. The metal money is really nice. You can see the little Suburbia tile pattern on there. It's got some nice logo on the other side, which is all really good. All the money is really nice. I really like these. These are very helpful when you're playing the game. So you can say, okay, who's got airports around the table? And sometimes you have to ask, say, has anyone got an airport? You got an airport? How many airports you got? You don't need to do that anymore. You can just look around and see these nice big yellow tokens to see that they've got an airport, and that makes the game flow much quicker. Also, look at this tray. I'm not going to give it up to all the different player colours because that cost a lot of money to do, so I'm not going to give that an up, but you have your options. Let's take a look at this bit. This is the good bit that I like. This gives you a complete player setup. It gives you the amount of money they start with, their pieces that they need for the game, their bonus multipliers, and their 3 starting tiles, all in a nice 5-player layout there. That is all very good. You can just take one of these out, give each player one of these if they want, or they can change and pick the colour they want from these if they wish. It's of course all very good quality as well. The other thing I want to look at as well are the recessed boards. I wonder how far I could tip these over before my pieces fall out. Not that far, but you wouldn't pick your board up this much when you're playing a game anyway. But having the recesses in here is something that I didn't like from the old game because you used to knock your board and lose them sometimes. So having recesses in these boards is really good. Now I normally don't give deluxe components a separate up, but because this is Kickstarter exclusive, I think it's the first time I've done an ups and downs video where the deluxe components in it are not Kickstarter exclusive. They've got to get an up. So we've looked at the components, let's look at the artwork. You see the backs of the A, the B and the C tiles, they all have different artwork for the different islands. Let's look at the front. This is something I really like. Look at that stadium, that's just a really nice stadium and a hostel. I really like this sort of miniature artwork. Everybody calls this game Sim City in a box, and that's what it reminds me of. It looks like Sim City. All these nice little buildings that are really well drawn. They look, I don't know what the style of the art is, but it looks really nice. There's a nice little casino there, another nice casino there, and so yeah, I really like these. When you put them together, they start to look really good on the table, building up this nice little suburb that you are building. So the artwork on the tiles, the new artwork, I think it's better than the old artwork, even though I still do like the old artwork. This one looks more realistic, whereas the last one did look more like SimCity, more like a computer game. I like this one. It gets an up. Now, one thing I look at when I look at games like this are the setup and the rule book, obviously, but with a game like Suburbia, the rules, there's not that many rules. It is a very simple game to play. The hardest part to remember off the top of your head if you haven't played it for a while, not so much the rules, it's the setup, and this is where all this rule book and stuff comes in handy. So I mentioned this when I was looking at the tile tracker earlier on. You can see it shows you how many tiles for each player count, how many tiles go in the market, then how many tiles of A, and then where the challenge and bonus tiles go, how many B tiles, how many C tiles, where the round end or the final round tile goes shuffled in there, and it also shows the same on the other side for the 5th player. There's also a nice handy book that shows you all the tiles and all the rules, including all the nice little Suburbia ink borders. And the rule book does something good as well, because there are so many expansions in this game. What they do is they have the main rules are in blue, they have the Suburbia 5-star rules are in pink, they have rules examples in grey, and they have, if I can find it, there you go, Suburbia Ink is in sort of purple, and there's 5-star again in pink, and then you've got the Suburbia Collector's Edition tiles in yellow, and again on the back. All the different things have different colours, so if you're looking for something, you know which colour background to look for. It's really well laid out. The rulebook and setup gets an up. So in Suburbia, you are of course building your suburb, and to do that you're going to be buying those tiles and they're going to go into your suburb, and depending where you place them and which ones you place are going to determine whether that's going to increase your reputation, which is basically points, and your income, which is going to give you money so you can buy more tiles. Now this works really thematically. So for example, here you can see we have a slaughterhouse. It's going to cost us $5, but it's also going to give us -2 reputation, because nobody wants to be near a slaughterhouse because it's going to make horrible noises and you're going to hear animals screaming and it's going to be a nightmare. But as a savvy business person yourself, you're going to know that for every restaurant that opens up, you're going to make money because they're going to need meat to sell. So for every restaurant that opens up, you're going to get more income. A cost of reputation, one-off cost of reputation against getting more income the rest of the game. Is that going to be worth it? It might be, but one thing we do know is thematic. You've also got to think about lots of other things as well. So on one hand, you may have a residential tile. It's going to give places people to live, so it's going to increase your population. You might have a landfill. That's going to give you some recycling. It's going to be able to make you some money. You're going to get a lot of income. But nobody wants to live next to that landfill. So if you put the two together, that's going to cost you reputation. It's the sort of thing that you have to balance throughout the game, and it is thematic. So I'm giving all of that an up. Now, another thing you have to do is check your tiles against all the other players' tiles, which brings everybody into the game, so you're not just focused on your own little board. You are looking at what other people have got and seeing what tiles are available and how they can help you, or how you can hinder them. But one thing I don't really like is some of them don't really make sense to me, and I'm hoping you can tell me in the comments below. So the first one I want to look at is this one. This is the fancy restaurant. It gives you 3 income, but you also lose income for each other restaurant built after it. Now, I understand that maybe the fancy restaurant is being surrounded by competition, so you're going to lose income, but I don't see how that really works with a fancy restaurant, how a fast food restaurant would affect the income of a fancy restaurant. Then you have to look at this one as well. This is a fast food restaurant. It's going to give you 1 income. It's going to increase your population as people live around it. People are going to want to live there because they've got nice access to easy, what I'm assuming is unhealthy food. Looking at the size of that, what I think is a donut outside. But it doesn't reduce your income depending on the other restaurants in play. So that's a bit weird. Also, one thing I don't understand is if your restaurant in your suburb affects my income, how come my airport increases when you build an airport? Surely, if I have to fly to your suburb to be able to go to your fancy restaurant, it's not going to affect the income of this. As I said, I'm knocking it a little bit. I just want to understand. So if you can make it clear to me in the comments below, please do let me know. But I'm not giving this an up or a down because I like that it brings other players' tiles into play and other players' suburbs into play. It's really cool. So it's just going to get a neutral. Something else I want to look at is this. This is the scoreboard. This is the bottom half of the scoreboard. The top half is over here. It gives you a nice little 5-star thing there, which is cool. It also shows you, again, I mentioned about setup. It shows you exactly where your score marker should start, which is, again, another brilliant setup piece to help you get started. But one of my favourite things about Suburbia is as you're building up points, as you're moving up the score track, you're going to cross these red roofs. As you do, that means that your suburb is getting big, it's getting harder to manage, which means you reduce your reputation and income by 1 for each red roof you pass. And that means as you're scoring points and as you go on, they're getting closer and closer together. Look at the top of the board, how quickly you go over. You start losing, hemorrhaging reputation and income as you get to the end of the board there. Because it's getting harder to manage, there's a lot more to do for you as a suburb runner. Mayor? Don't know the word. But what it does, it is sort of a bit of a little catch-up mechanism, but when you put a catch-up mechanism and make it thematic, nobody cares, nobody notices. I really like it. The score track and the managing your reputation and income with the red roofs gets an up. Now, one thing I wouldn't like to do is just play the same game over and over. Obviously, the way the tiles come out and stuff is going to be different game to game, but what really helps you make you play the game differently are the goal tiles. So everybody has one of these. It's a secret goal and nobody knows what you've got, but you need to have the most of something or the least of something to be able to score it. So here, whoever's got the most money gets 10 points. This could be a public goal that everybody's trying to achieve. Whoever's got the most money at the end of the game will get that 10 points. If there's a tie, nobody gets it. Or maybe it's your secret goal, so I've got to try and get the most money at the end of the game. I'm looking towards the end of the game. How much money has everyone else got? Can I beat it? Can I get more money than them before the game ends so that I can score these 10 points? And there's loads of these to pick from. There's also challenges that come up, there's bonuses that come up. You can see them coming. It's really cool. It gives you something to aim for. It changes the way the game, or you play the game from game to game. It makes more tiles more valuable than others because sometimes you might just pick the same tile every time if there's nothing to aim for. But now you think, oh, I need money, so I need income towards the end of the game. I can't just ramp my income all the way down. So I need to make sure I'm getting some money so I can have this most money. I can be a billionaire and get an extra 10 points, which might win you the game. So the gold tiles, the challenges, and the bonus tiles all get an up. Okay, on to the expansions inside the box. There are pretty much 3 expansions, so let's look at those. First up is Suburbia Inc, and the best thing Suburbia Inc gives you are the borders, and these are these tiles here. They're quite big. They've got a lake on the other side should you wish to lake them. And what you would do with these is you put them on next to your tile and you just make sure they clip in to your suburb the same way all the other tiles do, next to each other. And they've got a bonus on there, and the bonus applies to every tile touching this board. As you can see here, this is a sports complex. It gives you 1 income for each of those 2 types of buildings that are touching it, and some of them are quite fruity. Look at this one, this is my favourite. This is the radioactive waste site. You can see there it gives you 5 income. That is a lot of income for 1 tile, but for every tile touching it pretty much, you're going to lose 7 people. That is 7 points, and there's loads of them to look at here. There's loads there. I love Suburbia Inc. When this came out, I haven't played Suburbia without it. I love it. I think these borders are brilliant. Suburbia Inc. gets an up. Another of the expansions in the box is Suburbia 5-star. You can see I have the stars here. This Supermall has 1 star, this Opera House has 2. And what this does is it gives you a number of stars, which you then track on the scoreboard. On this track here, and whoever has the most stars to least stars changes the turn order after every round. So after everybody's selected the tile, then look to see who's got the most stars, and then you change the turn order from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down. Now, the problem with this is it gives you an extra setup step because you need to take some tiles out to put the star tiles in. You also then need to put them back in the box, which means you need to find this tray and put them in specifically this tray, so you keep them separate, which goes back to setup. It also ruins the game flow because instead of play just going around the table as it has done, it's quite quick. People pay for a tile, play the tile, shuffle the tiles up, put a new tile out. That is it. It kind of interrupts the game flow a lot, and I don't like it. I never play with this expansion. It's not fun. 5-star gets a down. And the final expansion is Suburbia Dark, marked by this moon icon here. And these are high risk, high reward tiles. So this one only costs 2 money, this haunted house. It gives you 13 people, that is basically 13 points. But you're going to lose a person for every dark tile you put in your city from then on. So maybe this is the last dark tile you can ever take. You have this one, it only gives you 2 income. It's going to give you -2 money for every dark tile you put in your city. But look, it doesn't cost anything. So maybe you put that next to something that's going to give you money, or maybe something worthwhile. That's going to be pretty cool. And then here we have the city square, which costs $9. That's quite a lot. It's going to give you +4 reputation. It's going to be a lot of points every round, but you're going to lose a person for every single office building in the game, not just your suburb, but everyone. Every means all players. There's one last tile I want to look at here. This one is the werewolf den because it's from Bezier Games, so it has to have a werewolf reference. Come on, guys, let it go. So dark is good, the tiles are good, I like the tiles, but you need to take some of the regular tiles out and shuffle these in. Then you need to find where these go in the box and put them back. Also, these are really hard to get out of the box. There's no finger holes around that section for some reason. So I'm not going to give it a down or an up. That's going to get a neutral. So if you're counting along at home, that is 8 ups and 3 downs for a score of +5. Let's see where that puts it on the league table. And there it is, right there, joint 7th with the other tile laying game, Carcassonne. And make sure you hit subscribe because next month I'll be looking at Marvel Champions. Will Peter Parker crawl his way to the top, or will Rhino bring it all crashing down? Speaking of Spider-Man, what is Spider-Man's ideal job? A web designer. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and Insta at jtrpodcast, or find the blog at jtrpodcast.com. I've been Rob, aka Jesta ThaRogue, and I'll see you soon.